Let's take you to the Cape Town City Hall, where our reporter Junior Khumalo is stationed ahead of this evening's State of the Nation address. Junior, very good morning to you once again. A lot of expectations as the countdown is essentially on what President Cyril Ramaphosa will say this time around as he makes promises to the nation and takes stock of some of the achievements of his government. What's happening there?
Indeed, a lot is expected ahead of that presidential address. We've been speaking to some of his cabinet members just to find out what they expect from today's State of the Nation address. But now we are with some of the opposition party leaders. We have with us the DA Chief Whip, Siviwe Kwahume. Thank you so much for joining us. The breaking news right now is that the Western Cape High Court has dismissed the EFF's application, so 6 of its leaders are not going to be in Parliament. What do you expect? No more disruptions of the proceedings?
Look, I mean, we can only but hope so because, while we will always advocate for robust engagement in Parliament, and we are in no way proposing that, robustness should be stifled. But I think it is unfair to expect South Africans to be sitting at home waiting to hear whether or not we believe that the president will deliver anything of inspiration, but waiting to hear from the head of state and being prevented from doing so. So I think that the scenes that we saw last year were deeply unfortunate. We saw members of the security cluster jumping out of the stage, which, those scenes should never unfold on the floor of Parliament. First of all, Parliament is a completely different arm of state, and the security cluster has no business being there. And I think that the disruptions that we are seeing are bringing a lot of that kind of conflation of these two different arms of state. And I'm hoping that members of Parliament can come and listen to the president's debate, to the president's State of the Nation. And of course, we've got an opportunity to debate it in the coming week. But most importantly, we want South Africans to be able to hear what the president says and be able to make a determination on their own. Is this the kind of the same old empty promises they want to hear and for the next 5 years or not? And so our view is that we are a part of the rule of law, and the EFF should hopefully respect that.
And in terms of the president, what he is going to say, we know that his administration has been in power for the past 5 years now, and they've made a lot of promises, but the economy right now is growing at less than 1%. Unemployment is at the highest it's ever been. What are your thoughts as the DA? Do you think South Africans should still vote for the ANC, or does it make sense for South Africans to continue voting for a party that has basically not delivered on some of the promises that it made?
Julia, the biggest indictment on this government is that life for South Africans and ordinary people is worse today than it was in 2019 when this administration took office. Whether you're looking at unemployment, 7 out of 10 young people are unemployed. 30 million South Africans are living in poverty. As we speak, across the Eastern Cape, 5,000 people are dying of malnutrition. South Africa is not a poor country. There's no reason why people should be dying from starvation. And it is a massive indictment on President Ramaphosa and his administration. I don't think there's anything that the president can say today to inspire any hope to any South African, because people know that they are unsafer today. They know that corruption has reached unprecedented levels. Money that is meant to be going to basic services is going to the pockets of politicians. So it's very difficult for me to think of anything that the president can say today that will inspire hope from South Africans. So I think that certainly I hope that this is the last State of the Nation address that will come from an ANC president, and that South Africans will choose differently come election day, and that we can have an opposition-led parliament where we can see reforms, not just only in government, but in this institution, where we can see the rebuilding of parliament. We can see parliament gain its institutional robustness again, have its teeth back, holding the government to account, representing the people of South Africa as we are meant to do. And under this administration, none of that has happened. And so, as I think this may be the very last time an ANC president delivers a State of the Nation address.
Thank you so much, Siviwe. That is Siviwe, the DA Chief Whip in Parliament. Now, we also have Action SA's Athol Trollip. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. What is the expectation from Action SA from this State of the Nation address by the President?
Well, look, first of all, the past 6 wasted years means that we come here quite sceptical and jaundiced about what Cyril Ramaphosa has to offer. You know, we want to hear what comes out of this State of the Nation address so we can compare it with the past 6 State of the Nation's address, and we will take that information to the electorate. This is an election year, so we expect to hear him make more promises, unfulfilled promises, or promises that he can't fill. The only promise that he has kept, you'll recall that in 2018, Cyril Ramaphosa said he'd rather be remembered as a weak president than preside over the disintegration of the ANC. Well, he's achieved both of those. So that's the only achievement he has achieved. So, you know, I'm reminded of the words of Brutus. We haven't come here to praise Cyril Ramaphosa. We've come here to bury Cyril Ramaphosa. So we also believe, I listened to what Siviwe had to say, and we hope that this is the last State of the Nation address by an ANC president for a long, long time in South Africa. The ANC are vulnerable, they know that. So I think Cyril Ramaphosa will be extolling all the virtues of his past 30 years of ANC government. But the reality and the numbers on the ground, all the indicators, all the lived realities of people living in South Africa, jobless, under a crime scourge, corruption that's out of control, lack of foreign investment. Nobody is interested in what's happening in South Africa, so we can't attract foreign direct investment. So I believe if we have political change, which is imminent, then the rest of the world will refocus on South Africa. If I ask you to hark back to 30 years ago, the whole world wants to do business with South Africa. They were open to trading with this geopolitically perfectly situated country on the tip of Africa, and we've seen what's happening in the Middle East on the sea routes there. More and more ships coming past our coastline, but they're not stopping in South Africa because of disintegrated ports, rail and road infrastructure that just can't cope with any economic activity, and in fact that is stifling economic growth. So we hear Cyril Ramaphosa talking about we will fix the infrastructure. They presided over the disintegration and destruction of that infrastructure. So we need something new and fresh. We believe as Action SA that we offer something fresh to the electorate that's become so, done with politics. We saw in the last election 18 million South Africans that were registered to vote didn't vote. We're offering them something fresh, and what's interesting about Action SA is we're a melting pot of South Africans that come from all different political persuasions, that have just had enough of empty promises, ineptitude, and most importantly, had enough of an overwhelmed ANC government.
Thank you so much, sir. That is Athol Trollip from Action SA, just speaking to us about their expectations when it comes to today's State of the Nation address by President Cyril Ramaphosa.